Hi, so we are a bit later than I planned. A few things didn't work out today, but going to just do a little 15 minutes here on some stretches. So specifically these stretches, they're all for the lower back area. So very common for people to get tightness in the low back, to maybe get pain in the low back. And certainly this has been something it's topical for me because, as some of you may know, this is something, or low back pain is something that I suffer with every now and again. And it's really common. And when I do a lot of strength work, as is probably obvious, but it's really important to balance any exercise that's about building muscle with stretching and mobility. If you only do strength work and neglect your stretching and mobility, what can tend to happen, and I find the older you are, the more likely this is, that you can start to get some tightness building up in certain areas of your body. And when you quite often don't notice where the tightnesses really are, and that can start to impinge on your movement and start to cause pain in either direct areas or referred pain, which is pain that's felt away from where the restriction is. So for me, I had a tightness in my lower back, and I had a lot of pain in my upper glutes and my hip as well. So, as I say, really common. Now, what's really important is these stretches I've had clearance from a physiotherapist to do these stretches with where I'm up to with my back. If you have any active back conditions, then can't stress this enough. It's really important to speak to a doctor, speak to a physio, and make sure that they happy that they know what's going on with your back, and then they can advise you on what the right course of action is. So, but for this is if you're fine and you've got no issues, this is just a very good, very safe, just general mobility drill to try. All right, so I'll show you some of the exercises. There's not too many. Now, the key thing as well with this is before you, I'm going to show you the exercises, but you'll get the best from this type of routine if you've got some time on your own, and so you're away from distractions, you're in a quiet place, and you're able to just really take your time and think about the stretches. These stretches work best when you hold them for a longer period of time. So think, 1 to 2 minutes per stretch. I'm not going to do that here. And as you're in this position, you want to really concentrate on your breathing. And all that needs to be is that you're just aware of your breathing, and you're just doing nice, even, regular breaths, and that you're able to then start to scan your body. And that means you're starting with your head and you're working way down, and you're looking for areas where you're holding tension. So when we're stressed in our lives, it's very common that we hold tension. You can easily think of situations where you've realised that your jaw's really tightly clenched or your shoulders are up. You can also hold tension in the lower part of your body, your glutes, your legs, your hips as well. And this is helping to release that tension. So when you scan your body, you start to notice more and become more accustomed to the places where you're holding tension. And once you recognise where you're holding tension, then the idea then is that you start to learn how to relax and release those muscles that are contracting. That's the tension. And that's going to start to free everything up and free up your movement. You'll feel tons better. So with this first stretch here, anyone who's done yoga or Pilates will have done the child's pose. You're sitting on your heels, your knees are wide, because you're going to stretch out and just put your head on the floor and just sink into the stretch. Now, even in this position now, I'm holding a little bit of tension in my back. And once you then get into the position and start to spend a little bit of time there, you can learn to really switch off and block down. So the feeling or the sensation that you get is that you're just able to go really heavy and floppy in your body in whatever position you're in. And that's what you're going to start thinking about. Okay, so this is the first stretch. The second stretch is stretching your lower back the opposite way. So for that, you're going to stretch out, and to begin with, you can just, the stretch is here, okay? So you're just going to lift yourself up a little bit to wherever's comfortable. So for me now, I can feel a little bit of tension here, and I'm noticing that I'm actually squeezing my glutes a little bit. So watch when I let them go. I think you should be able to see that it just flattens out. You even saw my feet move there. And that's letting my body sink down into the floor. This is my bum clenched, which you don't realise that you're doing sometimes. I know I don't. And then letting go, you're just flopping onto the floor. And when you're in this position, you're going to just again do your nice, steady, slow, rhythmical breathing. You might feel a little bit of tension in your spine, and you're just trying to relax that and get used to being in that position. If that feels too easy, you can start to sit up or even work yourself up. So for me, when I started, this was too painful, but over the course of a week of doing this consistently, I was able to improve the amount that I was able to sit up. And as you move again, you have to relax your glutes, relax the tension that you're holding in the back of your hips, in your legs, in your feet. And with this, your stomach needs to feel really, imagine you just had a big meal and your stomach's all flopped out and you can't be bothered holding it in. That's the feeling that you're going for in this, just to let your hips really sink down into the floor. You tighten your stomach. Can you see how I pulled up straight away? When I let go of my stomach, I get a bigger stretch into my lower spine. So a lovely stretch to do, very easy stretch to do, and one that you can just gradually move up from. So the next one, you're going to lie in your back. Now, this is a twist. So this is something that's not suitable for some people with things like disc issues. So always be mindful of your own conditions and what you can and can't do. First of all, your knees are up, your hands are going to be out to the side, and you're going to let your knees come down. Now, if you can't get your knees all the way down, get a block, a book, a cushion, so that you can relax yourself and have this feeling of flopping down. So if that feels too easy for you, you can put one leg out. Again, you can put your leg out, put it on a cushion, and now able to sort of let that flop down. You're going to have quite an intense stretch now, coming all the way around the side of your leg, right into the back of your hip. And then as you get used to that feeling of that stretch, you need to start relaxing your body. So this is a more complicated position, so it takes a little bit more thought to relax. This is good for anyone who has trouble with the piriformis or any tightness there. And in this position now, you want to, it can be quite an intense stretch. You don't want to be in pain ever when you're stretching. Yes, you're aware of the stretch. Yes, you're aware of the tension. But you are definitely not trying to do anything that causes you pain that is hard to bear. So if something feels too intense, you come out of it, you maybe go back to the easier version, or you stop. That's really important. The stretch has to be such that it's mild enough for you to feel it and also to be able to relax your body around it. Now, in this particular position, I can relax my shoulders and let my back settle in. You might see my whole body move then. So this is me tense. This is me relaxing. This leg will be floppy. My leg underneath. And again, I'm letting just relax and sink down into the floor. And I'm relaxing all around here and all around into my back. So I can still feel a bit of tension in my hips. That's where I'm tight. But it's not uncomfortable for me to stay in this position. Okay, and then you're going to hold that just long enough to start to feel that you can recognise where you're holding the tension and to release it and to let your body go floppy. And then you're going to move to the other side. Now, you can see I've got a plant pot behind me. So as I go to the other side and do it again, just naturally, my foot's going to hang on that plant pot, which makes it an easy stretch. Well, that's a good example of how you can have something to lean on. It could be a stool, it could be some books, it could be a box. Plant pot's probably not the best idea, probably knock over, or a pile of cushions, so that your leg can just rest in a position where it's just enough for the stretch, but you can just relax and let that whole body, let your leg go, let your hip go, let the leg underneath go, let your stomach go, let your back, the tension in your back relax. In this position, it's a massive stretch all the way from across your back, across all the front of your body, all the way around your hips and into your legs. So there are a lot of things to think about and a lot of tension to let go of. But this is a great stretch because this is how your body works. it works it shifts the weight and the forces in across through your spine. So working anything that goes across you is a really good, very effective and good functional stretch. My back pain is on the left, my tight side is on the right. So again, you think that the problem is where the pain is, but quite often it's tightness somewhere else that can be causing it. So this is why this type of stretch works really well. It can it can affect you can work the areas where you're feeling the pain and the areas where you might not be feeling it, but could be causing the problem. Okay, so the next stretch is going to be for your thighs. So you're going to lie on your side, and you just lie flat on this arm. The bottom knee is bent. You're going to grab hold of your ankle and pull this foot quite firmly, actually, up towards your glute as high as you can. If you can't get it near enough to your glute, you can tie a scarf onto the back of your foot and then just hold the scarf somewhere. So you can see how my leg's sticking up now. Now that's not relaxed. Relaxed is when I literally let the whole thing switch off and flop down. That's how you relax your thigh. Now with this hand, I need to not let this hand go relax, because I need to firmly pull that leg up high so that I can really get a stretch in here and release, and then as I feel that stretch through the position that I'm holding it in, and then I can gradually let go of that muscle and it starts to sink and flop down, and it becomes much easier then to pull that heel towards your glutes. Now this was a stretch that took me a couple of days to be able to do. I could do it, but I couldn't figure out how to make my leg go floppy and switch off the muscle. Now, I already know that my thighs, my quads are very overactive. I get a lot of tension in them. I don't notice it because you don't often feel tight muscles, but I know they're tight. So they're hard for me to switch off. So likely you'll have some muscles yourself that are hard to switch off and others that are very easy to switch off. This was a tough one for me. But once I'd figured out how to do it, and I could do one side before I could do the other, but now I can very quickly get into this very relaxed, stretched position. Now I'm just going to do one side, but you would turn over and do the other leg. Okay, next stretch. This time we're sitting up. So for this one, you're going to have your feet as wide apart as you can, and you're going to just keep your hips, keep your back straight up to begin with, because you're going to sort of try and lean forwards. Okay, this isn't as comfortable as some of the lying down ones. And the backs of your legs, I can feel it now all the way down the backs of my thighs, all the way underneath my thighs, and on the inside of the legs as well. So it's kind of also all around my back. These muscles can be really tight. It's very hard might not be able to move very far at all here. But if you can sit in this position for, again, 1 or 2 minutes and really think about, really take the time to think about how you relax these muscles and releasing them, you'll find that very gradually you start to be able to move more and more forward. You can walk your hands out a little bit. You'll notice your elbows being brought, coming down towards the floor, and you're going to very gradually be really relaxing and stretching and lengthening these muscles. This can be an area that people are very tight in, and this can feel like a very intense stretch. So again, you don't want to be sat in a position where your legs are shaking and you just feel on the edge of something going to ping. We'll go much before that. It's a gentle stretch that you're able to hold and relax down into. So again, it might take a while for you to feel comfortable in this, but the more you practice it, the more you'll be able to release it. And again, you just want to try and take some nice breaths when you're in that position, just to, again, help you to relax. So taking deep breaths does relax your body, so that can help in turn to relax your muscles. Okay, staying in this position now, I'm going to take one hand, or this is my right hand, that's the thing, my right hand towards my right leg. I'm turning my body around so that it's travelling along the same way as this leg, and I'm trying to reach over. Now, if you can't get that far, you might just be able to lean on your leg and work that way. But the key thing is you want to try and work along towards that leg. If I do it on this side, you'll get a better sense. of what I mean. So you're trying to keep it in that direction of the leg. Now, once you're in that position, there's a big muscle here that connects your spine to your hip that can get really tight. So this is a great stretch to really reach over with this hand. And again, as you relax in this position, I can let my legs relax and go floppy on the floor. And eventually, if I think about it long enough, I'm going to be able to get further and further down to get a bigger and bigger stretch. So you might only be here to start off with. You might have to lean on your leg or put your hand behind and just sort of stretch down. Just find what you can to begin with that's comfortable and stay in it, and you'll just find after a while you feel that you can start to just gradually increase the amount that you can stretch. So a bit harder than big strong muscle, big tight muscle, funny position to be in, I'll give you, but one that's worth doing because that can really help to release a muscle that can cause quite a lot of tightness in your back. Okay, so that's just a few stretches. There's more, but I'll be able to show you more in the future on other sessions. So just to recap, how many stretches did I do there? Maybe 5. So this is ideal if you've got half an hour on your own in the morning before everyone's up, and you can just find yourself a little quiet corner of the house and not be disturbed, and maybe just spend between 1 to 3 minutes in each stretch. And you're trying to really notice where you're holding the tension in your body and just working your way through the different areas of the body to try and learn how to relax it. This is fantastic for your lower back mobility, your hip mobility, and that can help with managing pain if you've got clearance to do it, back pain, and also to help avoid those sorts of things in the future. All right then, so thank you for watching this, and I will see you again soon. Have a lovely Friday. All right, bye.